And
the voice,
the heart, the soul of the Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
Also brought to you by Ropers Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Products and services for better public health. Green Turtle. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today. The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, and by West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record.
Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Ort Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees so fair. Today is Monday, the 31st day of May 2021. I am going to dispense of my opening remarks this morning because we have in the studio with us the Premier, the Honorable Wayne Panton, and Minister for Tourism and Transport, the Honorable Kenneth Bryan, in the studio with us. We have a limited amount of time. They're only going to be here until the 8 o'clock news, and I want to give them every opportunity to have the mic this morning, so I'm dispensing with my opening comments, and I will say, good morning, gentlemen. Welcome back to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C. Pleasure to join you, and pleasure to be able to speak with your wonderful listeners in our wonderful Cayman Islands.
Good morning, OC, and good morning to the listening audience here and abroad. It's a pleasure to be back here on the show. So much to talk about, so I'm glad to be here.
Okay, and I'm going to dispense with all of the other formalities and throw the mic right over to you.
Well, I want to say firstly, thank you so much for having us on. I myself and the Premier thought it was important to come out here and at least start the ball rolling in respect to the communication process of this administration. As you know, we pride ourselves in being transparent, but also being very tactful in respect to what available information we can provide at this particular point. So today we want to just tell you where we're at, and also, of course, encourage the vaccination challenge that we're doing. We're very, very pleased to say that things are going very smoothly, and the uptake is and the people are responding very well, and the uptake is very high. Just to give you a little update, the recent numbers that we've had since Friday, we haven't had the official numbers because of Saturday yet, but over 43,000 persons, or actually it's 43,605 persons have had their first dose, which is 67% of the 65,000 quoted numbers of persons who were on island, and making up of 57% of those with one dose or two doses of the vaccine. So that's very encouraging. We're getting closer and closer to that target figure that the medical staff can be pleased with in respect to having herd immunity on the island. Just to encourage those who haven't done so yet, you know, we the Ministry of Tourism and the Ministry of Health, obviously the government as a whole, have come up with some interesting packages to encourage persons to take the vaccine if they haven't done so already. So much so where we have flights on Cayman Airways to give away, jewelry like a Movado watch from Diamonds International. We have $1,200 worth of gift certificates from A.L. Thompson, which we're really pleased with. We have a affordable farm home system for solar worth $12,000. We want to send a big shout out to Burger King as well, who's given away $7,000 worth of burgers. That's pretty interesting in itself. I think I lost my head mic, but as long as everybody can still hear me, that's what's important. Also, we want to say thank you to CETA and R3, who've stepped up to the plate to give away $10,000 in cash. and $15,000 worth of other prizes that we don't have listed. But the list goes on and on and on, from staycations to dinners to many various different things. But that's the vaccination drive that we're doing. We're currently encouraging persons to continue to take part, because it's an important part of our process for the reopening. And I can let the Premier know, Premier speak in respect to how far we've come in respect to our discussions and deliberations in respect to where we're going to go about the reopening plan.
Certainly, Premier.
Yes, so morning again to everyone. We have been engaged in the process over the last several weeks of sort of planning, looking at the fundamentals for a possible reopening. When would it happen? What kind of conditions need to be satisfied? What does it look like for industry? What does it look like for the people of the country? Interestingly, at least for me, I thought when I came into government that there would have been sort of an initial plan that had been in place for some time, and a lot of the groundwork perhaps might have been done. But several weeks ago, when I asked the team, the program team in government, to look at this, I was surprised to find out that not much had been done. So we've unfortunately taken away quite a few of their weekends over the last several weeks in working on this. And I have to say that, we are immensely proud of the team of people that we have in government. I'm immensely proud of the entire civil service. We have some really amazing people that do some amazing work for this country, and too often they don't get enough of the recognition and support. But we have this program board, which has been in place for some time, and they have done an excellent job. We've had an update and a full presentation from them in terms of reopening options. We're going to have some further updates again, so that we can have further clarity around exactly what the options involve, both from the industry, as I said, and the Caymanian people. The reality is, I will see that this process involves obviously an increase in risk for us. We do not have the option of continuing to remain with closed borders and in this bubble where we have this mechanism of the quarantine and the testing to sort of eliminate the risk of local transmission. And the reality is that also that our success in being able to do this depends on a number of factors, not only our own internal preparations, but also what's happening in the rest of the world, what's happening in the gateway countries that people typically come from. And so we're looking at the vaccine take-up rate, for example, in the US and the UK. We're looking at the prevalence of COVID transmission. And we've set certain parameters which must occur there before we would consider reopening plans here. And I'm really happy to say that the UK have achieved those standards, and the US, and in particular the group of states that we look at in terms of our normal source market, they have either achieved it or they're on a definite trajectory in the coming weeks to achieve it. Now, these things may change. It might change in 3 weeks' time, right? Because there's talk right now of the potential for a third wave in the UK, and there's concern around that. So we could see things change, in the coming weeks. But we need to have a set of parameters in place, which sort of dictates when we would give an indication that we are going to reopen. in addition to knowing exactly what our process would be, what our procedures would be, and we know that the industry needs. Well, we've had some mixed. Frankly, we've had some mixed signals in personal discussions with some of them. You know, they've indicated an 8-week sort of ramp up period. In discussions between Mr. Bryan's team in tourism and some of the folks that are on the program board, they've indicated sort of double that amount of time, 8 to 16 weeks. Whatever it is, we need to be able to give industry sufficient time, and importantly for us, very importantly for us, we need to be able to give our people sufficient time to understand what the potential implications may be. Because as I said, it involves an increase in risk for us. And a key thing for us, obviously, is making sure that we have the vaccine distribution as high as possible. OC, you will know from your time in government, and you care. I know how much you care about this country, and I know how much you care about the people of this country as well. You will know and you will understand that making a decision which increases the risk for the people in our country is a heavy burden.
Certainly.
Right? Mm-hmm. It is a heavy burden. And as a government, and certainly as a premier, I want to minimize the risk as much as possible, because losing one person, having one person get really sick and losing one person is going to be a heavy burden to bear. And we certainly don't want it to be in multiple numbers. So if the vaccine program, the vaccine itself has been demonstrated to be very safe. We have all now in government being vaccinated. The elected government anyway. I think we have everybody vaccinated. I've had mine since the end of March. And this is something that I absolutely encourage. I know we have a lot of people in Cayman still who have this vaccine hesitancy. Some people are waiting because they want to delay it as much as possible. I'm imploring people not to delay, because while we don't have, we're not going to have a problem with getting vaccines from the UK. The UK have been exceptionally good to us in providing a supply of the Pfizer vaccines. We just can't delay. We have to get as many people vaccinated as possible, so that when we get to the point where we're reopening, we're minimizing the risk of any potential transmission. See, when I talk about this thing, I typically refer to things like the flu vaccine. I have taken the flu vaccine every year since I started in government back in 2013.
Okay.
And I did it because I was doing it for me. Mm-hmm. Because I hate losing time, I hate losing productivity, and I hate feeling, ill from this thing. This particular vaccine, I took this because I want to protect the ones that I love, and I want to protect the people that I care about around our country. And it would tear me apart to know that I was one of the 98% that didn't get ill, but one person that caught it from me got ill and died. And that is something that it's the same issue that we have in relation to the entire country and making decisions about reopening and elevating the risk there. We must, as a country, and we must, as a government, make sure that we do everything we can to protect people. And that's why we have spent so much time on this vaccine drive. We are close to the point where we're not going to have an issue. And I expect an announcement coming probably this week where we won't have an issue around the current batch of vaccines. And we will be getting some additional vaccines as well. But the main point for us was to make sure with this batch that we got everybody vaccinated that could be vaccinated with this, and we didn't waste any, because we felt very strongly that it would have been a tragedy to waste anything when many people around the world are now dying because they haven't had the opportunity. And the world has gone in many places from vaccine hesitancy to vaccine desperation. You know, and we certainly don't want to be in that position here.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, there are two areas I would ask you if you could touch upon. Number one, whether or not incremental steps can be made in the Cayman Islands. We know we went from the quarantine period from 14 days to 10 days, and some people are asking whether or not it could be reduced even more. That would help to a certain extent. And also we see over the weekend that the United Kingdom has now approved the use of the Johnson & Johnson, the one-shot vaccine as well, and whether or not that may have any implications for the Cayman Islands as well. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, with Premier, the Honourable Wayne Panton, and Minister for Tourism and Transport, the Honourable Kenneth Bryan, will continue after this short commercial break.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
In 1858, John Miller, a native of Montreal, Canada, shipwrecked off the coast of Cuba. A locally owned schooner would bring him to Grand Cayman, where he settled for many years in the north side of the island. He would eventually move to Georgetown, and it was said that he was in charge of constructing the first north side Presbyterian church and school.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
When I was growing up in Cayman, Sundays was always a big day for our family. Everyone would go to Granny's house for Sunday dinner after church. Even today, I can still smell the aroma of all the delicious food we used to eat, especially the hot, fresh baked bread smothered in butter, topped off with our favorite pan cheese. These days, I don't have enough time to cook and bake, but I do my best to carry on the Sunday tradition of family meals, and being able to get hot, fresh bread with no preservatives or additives from Caribbean Bakery is a big help for me. Shh, don't tell them, they still think I baked it. Caribbean Bakery, now delivering every Sunday to McGrath's grocery store in Eastern Avenue and Marina Drive. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
Since March 2004, West Bay Pharmacy has kept their doors open to the local communities, even before, during, and after Hurricane Ivan. At West Bay Pharmacy, our staff provides so much more than pharmaceutical excellence. From the moment you walk through our doors to completing your cash out, our staff will have put your healthcare concerns at ease. We would like to take this moment to thank our loyal friends and customers. To us at West Bay Pharmacy, our patients are our primary concern. We provide thorough background checks and precise calculations to ensure your medical safety. Thank you for being a part of our family and for choosing West Bay Pharmacy. where we care about your health.
The Green Turtle app. So many options. One easy solution. All new subscription feature to automate your weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly top-up. Makes your life easier. Never lose a number again. Keep your children on budget. Yes. Make sure you can stay in touch with your loved one. Woohoo! No hassles. Green Turtle makes it easy. Take a ride on Cayman's Green Turtle Express. Download the Green Turtle app today. It just makes life easier. Remember, you can get mobile gift cards for Xbox, PlayStation, Apple, and Spotify delivered right to your phone. Playtime is now in real time.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vamt Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast, and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vamtmotors.com or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vamp Motors on Walkers Road.
Honey, our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. My pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning the Honorable Premier, Honorable Wayne Patton, Minister for Tourism and Transport, the Honorable Kenneth Bryan. They're here until 8 o'clock, but I just want to say to all of our listening audience, this portion of the show this morning was hurriedly prepared because there's information that the Premier and the Minister wanted to get out to you, but there will be ample opportunities during their administration for you to converse with them. They will be on the show more and more times as well. So I just want to reassure you that that will be happening. Premier, over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, OC. So, we definitely will be utilizing our time to come and spend with you and talk with the people of the country, particularly on the Mondays. I think you mentioned the pre-JMC meeting that happened last week. That was very good meeting, very good discussion amongst all the overseas territories. On our side, the environmental aspects that were being discussed, the proposed involvement of Cayman with other overseas territories at the COP26 meeting in Scotland later in the year in November. I think it's just after the JMC that's scheduled. That's going to be very interesting in terms of how we participate. The UK the UK's position is that basically 94% of the biodiversity that the UK has is in its overseas territories. So we feel very strongly that we should feature sort of front and center in terms of that, and we're hoping to have something to be able to roll out there, which will definitely put Cayman as a feature in relation to that. Obviously, we also had a lot of discussions around financial services issues, which is a very typical topic, unfortunately, with JMC, but critically important to us, for sure. In terms of the vaccine, and
the J&J.
in terms of so Johnson & Johnson, and I see that there's a recommendation for approval for that. That's a one-shot vaccine. At this point, we haven't had any indication that will have a particular application for us. We're going to continue to get the Pfizer vaccine from the UK, but who knows? They may propose that we utilize that at some point.
Which is important to highlight, that the Pfizer is the better of all of those out there, and because we've done such a good job so far in our vaccine take-up, that there's a higher probability that what we do get next, as the governor has given indication that there shouldn't be a problem getting any more, that would make more sense to stick with the Pfizer, unless there's persons who have requested, which we know before this administration took over, have requested specific vaccines because of allergy reactions and the like. So,
and some people are waiting for that one jab as opposed to
then more.
as
Yes,
well.
exactly. So maybe a small portion, but at this rate, I think all indications would be sticking with the Pfizer.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, as you know, we've also had a limited supply of the AstraZeneca one, which was utilized for some people who seem to have more of an allergic reaction to the...
And the reduction in the quarantine period?
Yeah, so in terms of that, we reduced it to 10 days on the basis of people who had been vaccinated through the HSA. We are definitely considering reducing that further to 5 days. We should be able to give an indication in relation to that in the coming couple of weeks. The issue, I think, for us, the main issue for us really, in terms of reopening, is trying to get clarity around how we accept or how we confirm and verify that somebody has been vaccinated. That's a challenge that the entire world has.
Yes.
It's surprising that there hasn't been more movement in relation to that. So I'm going to, just briefly say, and I'll let Minister finish it, the discussion later on. But we've had an initial discussion, for example, with one of the cruise lines, and they are indicating that they're going to have, they're expecting to have their no sail order from the CDC lifted, I think mid to late July. So they're asking us about where we are and what's going on. They wanted to really indicate to us what their position was as well. But they're saying they're going to have 100% of their staff vaccinated, and they were projecting 98% of their passengers vaccinated. So the question is, well, how are you going to verify that? Because we have the same issue in relation to stay-over tourism as well. So that's a challenge that needs to be addressed going forward. And for us, in terms of our ability to reduce to 10 days and then reduce to 5 days, that is centered around us making sure that we know that the HSA vaccine that has been issued, we know that has been done. We can accept that. So it's still that issue around verification, which is going to be somewhat problematic, and I'm hoping that we can find solutions to that in the coming weeks as well.
Okay.
Well, recognizing the time, OC, I think I'm going to decide to stay on a little bit because there's a lot I have to address in respect to the tourism element. The industry needs to hear a little bit more as to what was happening in my ministry. We do have a very important meeting at 8:30, but I have asked the Premier for permission to be a little bit late to that because communication is key for this administration. So I know we have news at 8 o'clock, and I'll stay on for another 20 minutes after that and be late for the meeting.
So, Premier, any final comments from you?
Yeah, I just wanted to say we've been working really hard. There's a lot going on. We've been having some strategy sessions on half of Thursday, Friday. And then part of today as well. This is all around making sure that we can get the strategic policy statement done, which you're familiar with, and doing a lot of team building in relation to the government. Things that, frankly, I haven't seen even political parties haven't done that. So I think it's actually going to serve us very well in terms of a government. I've already seen loads of benefits from it.
Yeah.
And, Minister can speak about that. But I also wanted to just quickly say before I left, congratulations to Roshana Hides on winning Miss Cayman. I mean, that's just an amazing achievement. She's obviously an amazing young lady, already having a Bachelor of Science degree in hospitality management with honors. So she's got the beauty and she's got the brains, and she's an incredible Caymanian lady, and no doubt will be an amazing role model. A lot of Caymanian young ladies.
Certainly. Thank you, Premier, for being here. Minister Brian is going to remain with us after the 8 o'clock news. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time now by Foster's is a minute after 8 o'clock.
When you're on the go, the experienced team at Foster's Pharmacy are here to help. Drop off your prescription while you shop or WhatsApp us and we'll prepare it, ready for your arrival.
Whether you need prescription or over-the-counter medications, blood glucose testing, or advice on vitamins and supplements, we're here early in the morning to late at night. Both of our locations at our Camana Bay and airport stores are open 6:30 a.m. to 9 p.m., Monday to Saturday.
For more info, visit fosters.ky/pharmacy. Foster's Pharmacy. Better health because we care.
The 8 a.m. news is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. We are a not-for-profit, member-centric plan with a democratically elected volunteer board of trustees representing all sectors of the Cayman Islands economy. We have an all-in expense ratio of less than 1%, over 20,000 members, and $490 million in assets under management. We were the first multi-employer pension plan approved by the regulator in the late 1990s, and today we are still strong, secure for our employees and employers alike. If you would like to join or require further information, visit chamberpension.ky. And for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Karsley Fuller. The Elections Office publishes candidate returns. More from Radio Cayman's Shanda Gallego.
The Elections Office on Saturday published a summary of candidates' expense returns in the 2021 general election. 50 candidates contested seats in 19 electoral districts across the Cayman Islands during the 2021 general election. Following nomination day on March 1st, 2021, candidates had 45 days of formal campaigning ahead of the April 14th election. All but 3 candidates have now submitted expense returns. For the reporting period of March 1st, 2021 to May 14th, 2021, returns submitted by candidates and parties detail expenditures totaling $1,228,657.09. Third-party revenues of $548,016.27. Expenditures per candidate reported during the period ranged from a low of $2,940 to a high of $39,981.76. The latter figure represented the average spending across the 12 members of the alliance. Government reports declarations of third-party revenue, inclusive of monetary contributions and contributions of goods and services, ranged from $0 to $47,103.70 during the reporting period. Shanda Gallego, Radio Cayman News.
A statement from the Office of the Governor says British citizens who have moved abroad will be given votes for life as the UK government scraps the 15-year limit on the voting rights. Radio Cayman's April Cummings has more.
The UK government last week provided more details on plans to eliminate the rule preventing British citizens from voting at general elections if they've lived abroad more than 15 years. A statement says the proposals extend the voting franchise for UK parliamentary general elections to all British citizens living overseas who have previously registered or previously resident in the UK. These new rules will mean overseas electors can stay registered for longer, with an absent voting arrangement in place, requiring them to renew their registration details once every 3 years rather than annually. Electors will be able to reapply for a postal vote or refresh their proxy vote at the same time as renewing their voter registration, something which streamlines the process and helps to ensure overseas electors have appropriate voting arrangements in place ahead of an election. The statement adds decisions made in the UK Parliament on foreign policy, defence, immigration, pensions and trade deals affect British citizens who live overseas. And it is, quote, therefore right they have a say in UK parliamentary general elections. April Cummings, reporting for Radio Cayman News. And the 2021 sitting of the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate examinations are getting bumped, now slated for June 28th rather than the previously announced date of June 14th. The decision by the Caribbean Examination Council aligns with recommendations put forward by regional educators during a meeting of CXC's School Examinations Committee on May 21st. In addition to the delayed examination start dates, the regional examination body has extended the deadline for submitting school-based assessments until June 30th. There were no further changes to the regional examination, and all CSEC papers will be administered according to their initial structure. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Jerry Smith. China has announced that each couple will be allowed to have 3 children, up from the current limit of 2. The decision comes after census data showed a steep decline in the number of births. It's stoking government fears of an ageing population acting as a brake on economic growth. It's not clear when the change will occur. Vietnam, which largely contained the coronavirus last year, is taking urgent measures to counter a surge in infections. International flights to the capital Hanoi have been suspended, and the authorities in Ho Chi Minh City say they plan to test the entire population. European politicians have reacted angrily to reports that the Danish intelligence services helped their US counterparts spy on European allies. The US whistleblower Edward Snowden said in 2013 that Chancellor Angela Merkel was among the targets of the National Security Agency. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky.
The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. Are you aware of the performance of your pension plan? The Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan provides quarterly fund fact sheets for our members to stay informed with the plan's performance. For the year ended August 31st, various life cycle funds provided returns between 9.2% and 16.5%, and our all-in expense ratio is currently the lowest it's ever been, a record low at 0.72%. Visit chamberpension.ky to review our fund fact sheets. You can see the performance as far back as 10 years. Remember that pensions are a longer-term investment strategy. Focus on the long term rather than the short-term returns. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan continues to perform for you.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
The 7 a.m. news Monday through Friday is proudly sponsored by CG Britke Insurance, Health, Pensions, Life, where people come first.
The 8:10 a.m. weather report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by Pan American International Insurance Corporation. Pan American International Insurance Corporation, meeting the life, accident, and health insurance needs of individuals and businesses to ensure financial security and peace of mind. For more information, call 949-8304 or visit www.palig.com. That's PALIG.com.
For over 100 years, more than 5.8 million people across the Americas and the Caribbean have placed their trust in Pan American Life Insurance Group. We have delivered on our promise and have proven that we are more than an insurance company. We are family. To learn more about our first-in-class individual and group life, disability and accident solutions, please visit Pan American International Insurance Corporation at Unit 221, Cannon Place East, North Song Road, Grand Cayman, or contact us at 949-8304 and visit us online at www.palig.com. Pan American Life, people you can trust for life.
A pleasant good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 83 degrees. Relative humidity is 85%. The barometric pressure, 30.04 inches and rising. The wind is out of the east-northeast at 4 knots. Overnight low temperature was 78 degrees. Synopsis indicate isolated showers expected over the Cayman area for the next 24 hours due to an upper-level trough over the northwest Caribbean. Radar images show isolated showers in and around the Cayman area. Now the forecast for today, calling for partly cloudy skies becoming cloudy at times with a 40% chance of afternoon showers and possible thunder. Now showers will be locally heavy at times. Temperatures will be in the upper 80s. Your winds will be east to northeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be smooth to slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. And the forecast for tonight, calling for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of late night showers and temperatures falling to the upper 70s tonight. Winds will be east to northeast at 5 to 10 knots. Seas will be smooth to slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Today's low tide will be this morning at 6 minutes past 9, high tide this afternoon at 2:34, and a low tide again tonight at 8:49. The sun will set this evening at 6:58 and will rise tomorrow morning at 5:47. And the outlook is calling for similar weather conditions through Wednesday morning. That's the very latest on your weather report.
8:10 a.m. weather report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by Pan American International Insurance Corporation. Pan American International Insurance Corporation, meeting the life, accident, and health insurance needs of individuals and businesses to ensure financial security and peace of mind. For more information, call 949-8304 or visit www.palig.com. That's PALIG.com.
For over 100 years, more than 5.8 million people across the Americas and the Caribbean have placed their trust in Pan American Life Insurance Group. We have delivered on our promise and have proven that we are more than an insurance company. We are family. To learn more about our first-in-class individual and group life, disability and accident solutions, please visit Pan American International Insurance Corporation at Unit 221, Cannon Place East, North Song Road, Grand Cayman, or contact us at 949-8304 and visit us online at www.palig.com. Pan American Life, people you can trust for life.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Achieving your goals is a very rewarding feeling, but at times can feel very frustrating, especially if and when we miss our target. As you approach your goals in life, set yourself up for success.
When setting your goals, tell a friend. Having an accountability partner is often helpful in achieving your goals. Let your parents and partner know what you are planning or doing. Sharing with others also helps us to develop the ideas and our vision. Writing down your goals can help to solidify them for you and help you to stay accountable.
Change your thinking and change your life.
Radio Cayman's Cayman Strong series was brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
These days, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, stress, and depression can be overwhelming. Just know you are not alone. OnCourse Cayman offers private mental health services for children, teens, adults, and groups. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Top of the morning to you. Let's take a look at how your traffic is shaping up this morning. Busy traffic on the Linford Pearson Highway and also coming off the Linford Pearson Highway on Agnes Way. Delays and a lot of patience needed this morning as you head on down to Georgetown. And steady traffic on Cool Road, some sections moderate. And steady traffic coming for the Butterfield roundabout heading towards the Industrial Park area. Slight delays expected, but nothing to worry about too much. Traffic is moving on moderately on Shedden Road and light traffic on Owen Roberts Drive as well as Edward Street. On Huldah Avenue, traffic steady but flowing. On the West Bay Road, traffic is moderate in both directions, especially in front of the Ritz. Now, if you see any accidents or incidents on Cayman's roads, give us a call here at Radio Cayman, 949-6990. That's the very latest on your traffic. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12 o'clock. We'll give you another traffic report. Remember, make it Subway and click it or ticket.
Things just got a bit hotter on the island. Come in today and order the new spicy Korean subs at Subway. They're sweet, spicy, and especially satisfying. Stop in and try the pulled pork with spicy Korean sauce, or the chicken with spicy Korean sauce. And you can message WhatsApp at 929-4658. Order online or use Let's Eat or the Bento app. The spicy Korean subs at Subway in 2 flavors, extra saucy and extra spicy. Subway, eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
The HSA Specialist Clinic has relocated to a new, modern, state-of-the-art facility at Smith Road Center to offer you a better patient experience. Receive care from top specialists in chiropractic, complementary and alternative medicine, neurology, ENT, urology, pain management, and more. Our orthopedic and telemedicine clinics remain at the Cayman Islands Hospital campus. Please remember to bring your own face mask when visiting any HSA location. Visit our website, hsa.ky, to learn more. At the HSA, you matter to us.
Work Jobs Cayman has a new look. Registered users can now experience a more user-friendly platform, allowing for easier registration and posting of job ads. To see and experience the new look today, visit www.work.ky. That's WORC.ky.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orit Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. Minister Kenneth Bryan has agreed to remain with us. He'll be a little bit late for his meeting, but the Premier has given him the green light to remain because there are some other important issues that Minister Bryan wants to deal with as well. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Connor, and thanks to the listening audience again. I think it's important as Minister of Tourism to send again another congratulations to the winner of Miss World, Miss Cayman, Miss Rushana Hydes. Congratulations to her, but not only to her, but all 5 contestants who took part. They are strong advocates and ambassadors for our country, and I'm very, very proud. The Miss Cayman World and Miss Cayman Universe are strong programs for development of our young women as ambassadors for our country, yes. Locally and abroad. So again, congratulations to Miss Hydes. OC, one of the things that I want to make sure that we highlight is so the industry, that being the tourism industry and CETA as association are aware of some of the things that we are focusing on, and so that their membership are aware that we are working really hard, because we know that they are most affected by the borders being closed. As you heard the Honourable Premier speak before the break, that we have been in talks with the cruise lines, particularly that of Carnival, and we're trying to get more correspondence of what their safety protocols are going to be and how that lines up with our reopening talks and discussions. So just a word of encouragement, because I know there's been much focus on the stayover element, but there is still a large portion of our tourism industry that comes from cruise lines, and many Caymanians, business owners, depend on that as well. But I think it's fair to say that the cruise lines pose a greater risk than the stayover, where we can control in respect to making sure everybody's safe. Mm-hmm. So, but be happy to know that we are in constant communications with the industry and monitoring how they're going about their safety protocols. I know that some of the cruise lines have already agreed with other jurisdictions, and I know sometimes some people may say, well, this other jurisdictions have done this and have done that. Obviously, we are more ultra conservative here in the Cayman Islands because safety is our number one priority, but at the same time trying our best to balance the economics of things in respect to income for businesses and employees. That being said, I want to tell Caymanians that are interested in work, and we know we have a high percentage of unemployed right now, that as we are working on this reopening plan, to be mindful that many partners and businesses will be looking for workers, and we are adamant as an administration to put Caymanians first. So I'm going to be encouraging the tourism industry to start marketing locally and heavily amongst Caymanians, because they are a top priority. And we're going to hold fast in respect to that, but obviously continue to give the industry as much labor that they need that is not available here. But once it is available here, we expect strongly that the Caymanians are put in those positions first. Also, as you may recall, the Premier spoke about the population and making sure that we get that figure right. And I want to take this opportunity to thank the Deputy Premier and Minister for Finance, the Honourable Christopher Saunders, where we, in our discussions about our tentative opening plans, the question was asked, well, how do we get the figure of 65,000, which is so important, and that's why I'm so happy that he is a part of our administration and the Deputy Premier, because we could be making a serious mistake if we don't get that figure correct. Because, for example, we know that the target figure is 80%, and we'd like to have at least persons vaccinated up to that, between 70% and 80%, somewhere within there. Mm-hmm. But whatever percent that we decided on based on the expertise of the Dr. Lee and his direction, whatever percentage we agree to, we have to make sure that the figure that we're getting the percentage of is accurate, because 80% of 63,000 is totally different than 80% of 67,000. Yes. And in respect to the science behind herd immunity, which is the idea, the reasoning behind reopening, we got to make sure that figure is correct. So he's working hard with the Economics and Statistics Department on trying to verify the actual figure that we have on island. It is something we have to get right, because, as you know, there's a lot of work permit holders who are not here. So we got to make sure that the figures are correct. Obviously, anybody coming in as we start to open, we'll start to have some stipulations in respect to vaccination, which allows me to bring up a very important point. And I think that any work permit holders who are listening, I think this is something that you should pay close attention to.
Or employers.
Yes, or employers. Thank you very much, O.C. In respect to persons who are reapplying for renewals or for a brand new work permit, the government is considering making it mandatory for renewals and new work permits. I know other jurisdictions have made it mandatory right away. We don't feel the same way. We think that once you are going up for renewal, we can make it a condition for your renewal or for a new work permit to make sure that you're vaccinated. So if you're an island, I think I would encourage you to take this opportunity while we have supplies on island to go ahead and get vaccinated. So again, I encourage the work permit holders and employers to encourage their employees to go ahead and be vaccinated.
Because when that renewal period comes up, that would be part of the requirement, or most likely be part of the requirement.
Exactly.
That you're vaccinated.
Exactly. Also, before I go, I want to say that obviously it is important that we get as many people vaccinated as possible. And one of the areas or one of the age brackets that we were having some difficulty with was the younger ones. And I know that you may have heard of this carnival team called, or association called Cayman, who wanted to do a parade, a carnival parade downtown, as they normally would do pre-COVID-19. The government has considered whether or not we should allow them to have a permission to do so. And we've done a conditional letter to them to say we would allow them to have the parade on some conditions. And those conditions are that all the participants have to prove they've been vaccinated. So as well as they have to promote a vaccination drive amongst their peers. And we think this is a way that we can encourage persons to take up the vaccine. At the same time, somewhat reward the community for doing their part in this. You know, it has been difficult for all Caymanians, and that age bracket. You know, when you're younger, you want to go out and let go your energy and your steam, and we haven't been able to do that for quite some time. So I think that it's a win-win. It also gives us an opportunity to see where we're at in respect to how safe we are. So we've looked at their safety protocols, and we feel that once everybody has been vaccinated, and that goes from the marshals to the drivers to the DJs to those who are in feathered costumes, as we always see the pictures, and in the parades. Once they're all vaccinated, at least 14 days from the parade, that things should go smoothly. So we've reached out to the director for Cayman Carnival, Mr. Craig Frederick. I'm sending him that proposal, and if they get back to us with agreement to that, we sent that out on Friday. So this is the first place you're hearing it. And once they accept that, then it'd be a tentative approval, and then we'll make the necessary cabinet papers and approvals for it. Another concern that I think I should address from my ministry level is the BA flights. We've got much communications from the public about BA flights and the lack thereof because the demand is increasing. I just want to remind the public that we're currently still under repatriation flight arrangements. It's not commercial flights. We do, and the reason we're allowed to have the Cayman Airways and British Airways to do that is because of the categorization of repatriation. If it wasn't under that categorization, we would have to have, under the Open Skies Agreement, all airlines would be able to fly here. And then the control of the population and the persons coming in comes into question. And that's what we will also be discussing in respect to our reopening. But we've responded to many families and workers here who want to go back to the UK to see their families. Many students returning to school and back home for summer vacation. And we've asked BA, based on the risk-sharing agreement, to add 2 more flights, and those 2 flights. And even though I haven't got the last approval, but I know that the emails have been sent out to BA for confirmation for those 2 extra flights. One would be in July and one in September. The exact dates will be announced publicly soon. But I want to take this opportunity to remind the public, whenever making flight arrangements, we have this thing called ghost flights that is happening with a lot of the airlines, where they haven't had full approval from the Cayman Islands government through Travel Cayman and through my ministry, responsible for Cayman Airways and the negotiations with the British Airways, that they'll put these flights out and allow you to book them, knowing that they don't have the full permission to do so. At this particular point, and until we have a proper reopening plan, there's no other flights allowed to come in other than Cayman Airways and British Airways. We look forward to reopening and bringing those other airlines back in, but for now, we're still under repatriation. I would encourage persons to go to Travel Cayman to confirm whether those flights are available before you book, because I'll give you an example. I had a lady who called saying that she had flights on American, and unfortunately American is not allowed to fly in at this particular point, and the airline refused to give her a refund and had to direct her to go to Cayman Airways if she wanted to come home. A very strong Caymanian who actually just became a doctor, and I'm so proud of her. I won't call her name, but so unfortunately she is having to hold this credit with American Airline at this particular point, and hopefully use it another time and go to Cayman Airways and try to get a flight. So I would encourage the public that if you want to fly, go to Travel Cayman first to see what flights are available, because we're still under the repatriation agreement. OC, in closing, I just want to say, I want to remind the listening audience, and particularly that as Caymanians, that the government is doing everything it possibly can to reopen the borders in a safe way. It's a priority for us, as we know we cannot sustain the loss in revenue to core government for any long length of time. We do have to have a budget presented to the UK to ensure that we have the ability to pay our bills. So it's important that we do have a strong reopening plan that we can present to say that we'll have the income to pay our bills. Also, I want to say to the industry, the government is doing everything it can to assist. There's businesses who are preparing themselves for reopening and may need some assistance in respect to that reopening strategy. And as soon as we have all our ducks lined up in a row, we'll be making the necessary announcements. But it's important that the industry understands that we have not put this on the back burner, though we cannot make many announcements at this particular point. We're working hard to be able to potentially say something maybe in about 3 weeks or so.
Okay, before you go, two questions that I have been requested to ask you. One has to do with vaccination of 12 to 15-year-old, when that will possibly start, and also the dates that are being considered for a soft opening of Cayman's borders, whether it's September, October, or Christmas, whether or not you have any ideas in that regard.
Okay, the first question in respect to the 12 to 15-year-olds, we're still waiting on Public Health England to give that final say, and the government of the UK to give that final approval in respect to whether they can take it. We know that there is an interest here publicly for some parents who want to give it to their kids, but there is also the flip side. Some parents say they don't think it's a good idea, but obviously that's a personal choice, right. And if we get the approval from the UK and they approve it over there, then it's something that the government is poised to accept. In respect to the reopening, obviously I cannot give you a date. That'll be premature, but based on the vaccine take-up and that herd immunity target that we're trying to hit, if we continue to maintain on this path of vaccine take-up, that if we hit the magic number within the next 3 weeks, a month, and then obviously add on the lead time for industry to prepare itself, then I think maybe maybe 4 months from now. And that's a guesstimate. I don't want to be held to that figure. But it's just the vaccine uptake, however long that takes, plus the time necessary for industry to prepare itself for reopening. So just a wild guess, I would say about 4 months. But obviously all factors have to be considered. And I think probably one of the biggest issues that we have to get past is the verification of vaccination. We have to have a universal one that all, particularly our core sectors like the United States, Canada and the UK, what they are agreeing to, because that's where a majority of our tourists come from. So if we can have an agreement amongst those three markets, then I think it would help us a lot for a reopening. So hopefully that answers the questions there. And I say, OC, thank you so much for allowing us on. And hopefully some other ministers will be able to come on shortly to tell you about the things they've been doing in their ministry, because our whole team has been working very, very hard behind the scenes, out in fires that were left before, as well as starting their initiatives in respect to the government direction moving forward. But it was a pleasure to be on here, and I thank the listening audience for allowing me.
And thanks for making yourself available as well. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. At 9 o'clock, we will have representatives from the Department of Children and Family Services with us in the studio as well. So please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Green Turtle app. So many options. One easy solution. All new subscription feature to automate your weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly top-up. Makes your life easier. Never lose a number again. Keep your children on budget. Yes! Make sure you can stay in touch with your loved one. Woohoo! No hassles. Green Turtle makes it easy. Take a ride on Cayman's Green Turtle Express. Download the Green Turtle app today. It just makes life easier. Remember, you can get mobile gift cards for Xbox, PlayStation, Apple, and Spotify delivered right to your phone. Playtime is now in real time.
When I was growing up in Cayman, Sundays was always a big day for our family. Everyone would go to Granny's house for Sunday dinner after church. Even today, I can still smell the aroma of all the delicious food we used to eat, especially the hot, fresh baked bread smothered in butter, topped off with our favorite pan cheese. These days, I don't have enough time to cook and bake, but I do my best to carry on the Sunday tradition of family meals, and being able to get hot, fresh bread with no preservatives or additives from Caribbean Bakery is a big help for me. Shh, don't tell them, they still think I baked it. Caribbean Bakery, now delivering every Sunday to McGrath's grocery store in Eastern Avenue and Marina Drive. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
It's not Toolfest again at A.L. Thompson's. Toolfest is the annual two-day event held since 2009. Not Toolfest is our travel-restricted version. Instead of 2 days, Not Toolfest is 2 weeks of the best prices of the year on select tools, buy one, get one offers, and a free laser level with tool purchases over $200. So plan now for a Not event that you cannot miss. May 21st through June 5th at A.L. Thompson's. It's not Toolfest, but it's almost as good.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning, and welcome back to For the Record. Again, want to say how appreciative we are for the Premier and the Minister for Tourism and Transport to be in the studio and to share information with us as much as they can share at this point in time. Many issues to be dealt with, while at the same time some of them having to familiarize themselves with their particular ministries and the departments that fall under them, the various procedures and everything. So, like I've said on previous shows, we have to give them an opportunity, give them time to get their feet on the ground and get things going. But obviously, they are working diligently to address the myriad of issues that we face here in the Cayman Islands. Want to give a big shout out this morning to Miss Junie Martin, who's celebrating a birthday today as well. She's celebrating her birthday, so a happy birthday to her. Want to let you know that our phone lines are open. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261, where you can send us a text message or leave us a voice note, the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. And of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream as well. Have several emails and want to go through them. Oh, also, big situation in the United States. Of course, today, the 31st of May, represents 100 years, 100-year anniversary of the Tulsa Race Massacre in the United States. Tragic and horrific massacre. Over 300 persons, as they know of, who were massacred in race riots. And, of course, the United States, like other countries, many European countries as well, they all have a history of atrocities perpetuated on minorities. And that really is something that we need to recognize. We need to recognize it. So for those of you who have an interest and are touched by these particular situations, today, the 31st of May 2021, 100 years since the Tulsa Race Massacres. And in the United States, there were more than just this one, several. And if you're interested in knowing the history of that, it is important as well. Some people may say, well, why do we have to go back and talk about this? Because, folks, it is still happening today. And it may be happening here in the Cayman Islands in a different format as well. You know, they may not be bombing or burning our homes, but the whole process of gentrification, the whole idea of where you have Caymanian families who own land in certain areas and they're being pushed out because there is more and more commerce taking place in those areas. It's no longer viable for persons to try to have a home there, and they're being pushed out. And then, of course, there are those who are building walls around themselves in their gated communities to keep others out as well. So we may be experiencing our Tulsas here in the Cayman Islands in a different way. It may be coming, when we talk about racism, when we talk about oppression, it has many, many faces. And here in the Cayman Islands today, it is quite obvious that the persons with the monies, the persons with the financial wherewithal, the person with access to finances, they are the ones who are moving this country forward, and they are moving it in the direction that they want it to go as well. And one of those directions is that they're gradually, I shouldn't even say gradually, they are moving people out of their comfort zone, out of their historical places of residence, pushing them further and further away because they have the financial wherewithal to do it. So they're either building around you or they're building around themselves to keep you out as well. And we should not, folks, lose sight of what is happening and what could potentially happen here in the Cayman Islands as well. So while we look at the anniversary of the Tulsa race massacres, we also want to consider what is happening or what could potentially happen here in the Cayman Islands. Don't forget, Dr. Steve McPhee was talking and had that document the other day about all of the slaves who left and went to Roatan, went to Honduras after the abolition of slavery, simply because many of them didn't own land, didn't have access to land in the Cayman Islands because they had been slaves and had been caring for the properties of their slave masters right here in the Cayman Islands as well. Time for us to take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vamt Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast, and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vamtmotors.com or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vamp Motors on Walkers Road.
Are you feeling sick but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy-to-understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough, and sore throat to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. At 9 o'clock, we are scheduled to have the representatives from the Department of Children and Family Services in the studio with us. We have about 10 minutes before 9 o'clock. We have 4 callers on hold, so we want to be able to accommodate each of those 4 callers. So we're going to ask everyone to please be as brief as possible. Let's start with the first caller. Good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Rosie.
Good morning. How are you, ma'am?
Oh, great. I'm glad that, I always believe that politics is about interest. And I'm glad that you've brought up the massacre of the Black Wall Street.
Yes.
In Tulsa. I always feel in my own country that we don't speak about the issues that really matter to us. And I noticed that you said perhaps it may be happening here. But I just want for the future conversations to say why it could happen here. For the mere fact, two things. One, that in improving the social landscape of any country, you have to ensure that we have a lot of integration with our people.
Yes.
That is especially children, and I want us to remind ourselves that we no longer take foreign people in our school, in our public system at primary level unless they're married to somebody. And the second point, that we no longer have A levels in our public high schools. And if you see quite recently, a lot of our high schools did very well in the CXC. I want you to have this in your head because I want future discussion on it.
Okay.
Why, if we improve those two things, we can have better social integration, better upward social mobility, better upward socio-economic ability with our people, our minorities, if you use the word, with our people who are not so economically sound as others.
Mm-hmm.
And this conversation has to be continued if we want to improve Cayman. I'm not talking about racism. I'm talking about integration,
Mm-hmm.
inclusivity, diversity. These are the things that I'm talking about. And I'm so happy that you brought it up. But tonight, at I think CNN, there could be a refilming of that massacre.
Yes.
So anybody who would like to see it, everybody should be interested in this because one day, who knows? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that as well. And last night as well on the History Channel and MSNBC also carried stories also. Let's go to the next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC. How you doing today?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. Listen, I've got a lot of things to talk about, but I'll need a whole day for that. But just want to touch on what the Honorable Kenneth Bryan said about being vaccinated.
Okay.
Yeah, that should be mandatory that if you are renewing a work permit or applying for a new work permit, it should be mandatory that you are vaccinated. Because if you remember back in the day, our seamen who built this country, their destination was not United States. It was a matter of fact, they were just passing through, going to join a ship, and they had to have their vaccination card within their passport to even just pass through.
Yep.
So if you're going to come here and be amongst us, yes. Or you got to stay here amongst us with a renewal, yes, you must be vaccinated. And another thing I want to touch on quick is also somebody coming here 30, 35 years old, and just because they're on our island for 6 months, we're allowed to give them a clean police clearance when we know nothing about them. I think they should continue to have to get their overseas police record along with a police record from here.
For use here in the Cayman Islands, or But
initially
initially you require one from their country of residence.
Initially,
right?
Initially,
But if they have remained here since then it would make sense that we only need to.
And then as we know, a lot of them come here with some little false things too.
Okay.
So
okay.
By in a year time when that expire, that person that was their contact within that establishment might no longer be within there, and we might end up getting real police records.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Got you.
Because how many come here and join our forces and high position come find out afterward that it wasn't their police record wasn't exactly what they said it was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I think I'll leave you right there, and I think the minister spoke to you about Thursday.
Yes, got the news. Okay. Thanks. Okay.
Yeah. I'll go talk to you more about it.
Okay.
But, we'll talk later.
Excellent. Take care. Next caller. Good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Oziman.
Yes, you are.
Thanks very much. Well, it's good to have a chance again to just share some brief views. I know that you don't have too much time before the people come in.
Yes, and still have one more caller on hold as well. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay. Thank you. It's very good that you brought up that topic about Tulsa and what has happened there, and about the broader social implications in the States, as well as some implications for Cayman. Because I believe that in Cayman that is not sufficiently done. You see, the way I'm foreseeing the future, if this is not watched and taken care of, Dr. Steve was talking the other day about how the percentage of growth is such that Caymanians are becoming fewer and fewer. And I'm feeling, will there be a time, I'm asking myself, will there be a time when Caymanians will be pushed to a corner to such an extent that they may have to form an indigenous rights group?
Yes.
In the same way that in North America people were forced to form indigenous rights group? And you remember what actually happened once they were pushed into a corner. What happened? Society broke up or broke down in their communities. They started to drink a lot, and at that point they were called, well, that's the way they are. And yet it was the society which called them to do that. Now, in Cayman, this is being done practically voluntarily. The government, by bringing in people without re-regulating how many people they are giving status and PR and so on, they are practically doing it to themselves. In North America, it happened more or less involuntarily. They were sort of like just pushed out. And yet in Cayman, we're doing exactly what led to that, but we're doing it voluntarily. Yep. And since you're having your Department of Children's and Family Services coming in, I would like them to answer, if you ask them, won't this lead in Caymanian society? Won't this lead to the same consequences which happened in North America? That Caymanians, indigenous Caymanians, will be feeling frustrated, they will become drunks, they will become turn more to crime and so on. And if government is not aware of this, what are they going to do?
Okay.
Thanks very much. I'll
Thank
let
you.
you go.
Thank you very much. Let's take our last caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Oh, it's such a privilege to follow such a great mind.
Yes.
Thank you for your Tulsa mention. Thank you very much. But I want you to consider onto that racism issue that there is a one-drop rule. I'm sure you know about it, but just in case you forgot it, remember, one drop of black blood makes you black for 10 generations.
Yes.
After 10 generations, you only got one drop now. If they can trace you back, you're still black. And boy, I believe that is something us Caymanians, little fair-skinned ones, need to understand, because they think they're something else. But they're no different from me. And I don't think that I'm a minority. I know I'm a minority of sorts, but I don't think there is anything wrong with me.
Yep.
Anyhow, really, next time you're on the radio, I want to talk to you about this public health issue and this 5 days versus this and that. Other countries in the world, more developed than we are, more first world countries than we are, they're shifting, they're moving their goalposts, but they're going to 21 days. And I don't know why it is that we can't be overly cautious rather than to walk about, Tom, I can't sit down here for 5 days and don't come here. That's just me.
Okay.
Anyhow, thank you very much, Tulsa.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Thank you very much. And just to respond very quickly to one of our callers wanting that referred to the fact about whether or not we will have to end up setting up programs for indigenous Caymanians eventually. I have said before that I hope and I trust that we don't end up in a situation where we actually in Cayman have to implement affirmative action programs for Caymanians to try to move them up the ladder because we have left them so far behind. And the other comment that I want to make in relation to persons in Cayman, work permit holders in Cayman being vaccinated, I believe that the government is going to get, or the authorities are likely to get a pleasant surprise on that. Because bear in mind what Dr. Hazel Brown has been telling us, that when you look at the lines, and not only her, but people, when those initial vaccinations were taking place and we were trying to ring Caymanians arms to go out there and get vaccinated. The people that we were seeing on lines were not Caymanians, they were work permit holders and others. So I believe that we're going to find that the number of work permit holders who have already been vaccinated is going to be fairly high. Top of the hour, 9 o'clock news. We should have the representatives from the Department of Children and Family Services with us. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Spread the news every day, from East End to Georgetown, down into West Bay.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Government reported the results of 330 COVID-19 tests on Friday, all of which came back negative. Before the weekend, Public Health had administered more than 80,000 vaccines locally. China has announced it will allow couples to have up to 3 children after census data showed a steep decline in birth rates. China scrapped its decades-old one-child policy in 2016, replacing it with a 2-child limit, which has failed to lead to a sustained upsurge in births. The cost of raising children in cities has deterred many Chinese couples. There are signs that the UK is in the early stages of a third wave of coronavirus infections. Scientists advising the government from the University of Cambridge said although new cases were relatively low, the Indian variant had fueled exponential growth. They're saying ending COVID restrictions in England on June 21st should be postponed. The Environment Secretary said government could not rule out a delay to the planned lockdown easing. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning, good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. Sorry about the delay there. Just trying to get the studio all sorted out for my guests. And like I said before, we have members from the Department of Children and Family Services here in the studio with us. It's my pleasure to have Miss Loy Kellerman, who is a social work manager for the Youth Services Unit. Miss Shireen Barnes, who is a social worker for the Youth Services Unit as well. Miss Dorleen Welcome, Community Development Officer from the Community Development Unit, and Miss Vanda Powery, who's a Community Development Officer from the Community Development Unit as well. Ladies, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Okay. And I'm going to throw the mic straight over to the manager, Miss Loy Kellerman, and let her, if you need to again, if you want to introduce your staff, you may do so if you wish, and to speak specifically to what they're involved in if you want to. But over to you, Ms. Kellerman.
Good morning, Ossie, and to our radio audience out there. My name is Loy Kellerman. I am the social work manager responsible for community development. And today on the show I have with me Dorleen Welcome, Community Development Officer with responsibility for Georgetown, and Vanda Powery, Community Development Officer with responsible for West Bay. Also have with us this morning, because we're representing 2 teams today, we're representing Community Development and we're representing Youth Services. Okay. So with me also this morning is Shireen Barnes, who is a social worker, one of the social workers in the Youth Services Unit of the Department of Children and Family Services. So we're here this morning to just talk a little bit about what each of our units do. Mm-hmm. how we work with the communities, how we work with our clients, and the different services we offer, as well as to give a little overview on Child Month. As you, I know we've been on the program a number of times this month, where Child Month is celebrated in May each year, and each unit in the department has been responsible for doing different programs or putting on different events for Child Month. So the community development officers and the social worker will be telling us a little bit more about what it is they do in terms of community development or youth services unit, and what our services are and what we're doing for Child Month.
Okay.
Child Month actually ends today.
Yes.
So we've had a whole slew of activities and programs for Child Month. There were two that had to be postponed due to weather weekend before last. One was an intergenerational music clash, and the other one was a talent show. So those are being rescheduled for in June, and once we confirm, what we're confirming is facilities, venues in which to hold them, because we've now lost our spaces where we had. So, but we're working on getting those to have those two events by the middle of June.
Okay. And just for the benefit of our listening and viewing audience as well, can you talk about the location of Department of Children and Family Services, where you are? And accessibility, as well as when each individual is talking, we'd also like you to cover some of the challenges that you've had during the COVID-19 pandemic and how you were able to overcome them and still be able to perform effectively.
Certainly. So the Department of Children and Family Services is now located at Apollo House, which is formerly the Walkers building on Mary Street. We are on the east side, Apollo House East. So where work is on the west side, we're on the east side on the second floor. Our opening hours are 8:30 to 5, and we obviously welcome clients or persons who want to access our services anytime between those times. Our telephone number is 949-0290, and again, we welcome phone calls anywhere during those times. The workers will have appointments with their various clients, but certainly anybody who has any inquiry at all can always call that number, 949-0290, or just come upstairs to the second floor. The receptionist is always there to assist.
Okay. Now, I know one of the topics that we're going to talk about as well is community building. Do we want to get into that, or I'll leave you to be the director, Ms. Calvin?
Okay, so maybe what we'll do is have the community development officers, Dorlin and Van, talk a little bit about what community development is all about, and what their role is in the communities. We do have a community development officer for each district in Grand Cayman. There is a community development officer in Cayman Brac as well, who oversees the sister islands. So there are actually 6 community development officers who work full-time. As you probably are aware, when it comes to Department of Children and Family Services, we really work almost around the clock because we do things outside of work hours, because it's sometimes when we can access or have access to our clients. We do programs outside of our normal work hours, and of course if there is a need, if there's an emergency or anything, we are always there.
Okay. So we start with Ms. Welcome, no stranger to Radio Cayman, and for the record, years ago as well. Good morning, welcome.
Good morning, Cayman. And yes, being in this position for quite some time, during COVID, it was extremely challenging, and we just had to change the way that we used to do things. And one of the things that we did, we did a lot of care calls, And yes, of course, when you're going out into the communities, we had to mask up and wear gloves. And of course, use a lot of sanitizer and so forth, to keep safe, because we want to keep ourselves and our families and other people who we're visiting safe as well. Some of the events that we participated in last year while COVID, they were done through Zoom.
Yes.
So that was something different. It was outside the box, but different, and it was achievable. And a lot of families take part, and they had fun. Other things we did, we also did that for the seniors as well. Although I know that this segment is mainly on the youth and children. So we still did our home visits and, to check, make sure things were in place and so forth, and the children were okay. And we also assist the teachers in doing that, because I know a lot of teachers went around with homework and even meals. Some of the teachers took meals to families out there and so forth.
Excellent. Ms. Vanda?
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So in continuing with my colleague, Ms. Dorlin here, just speak a little bit about Child Month. Child Month is hosted annually in May. We celebrate the achievements of our children and youth. We do things to empower and educate them, and also to bring awareness to the general public about issues that might affect them. And we try to encourage and initiate solutions, to address those various issues. It's a good time for our families and our community to get together, to build, to celebrate, to have fun, be creative, build trust and good quality time together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you speak about the typical day of a community development officer?
Well, you can have a plan, and that plan has changed by the time you get up in the morning. There might be a phone call. Someone might need something. But generally speaking, the day might begin, doing some administrative work, doing some care calls to the various clients, following up on programs that we have in our communities, sitting down as a team, during our team meetings, which we do a few times for the month, to look at programs, building those programs, executing those programs.
And as for community development, we often say that our community development officers are the ears and the eyes of the community as well as the department. So they're really out in the community, engaging with the members in the community, the persons who live in the community. We, like Georgetown, both Georgetown and West Bay are large districts, as is Bordentown, because Bordentown is growing exponentially.
Yes.
And so in those areas we have a number of different neighborhoods that we work within, and so the community officers go into those neighborhoods. They build relationships with the persons who live in the neighborhoods. They work along with with partner agencies. They try to identify issues when they go around on their drive-throughs. They try and identify issues, possible areas of concerns that are either happening now or may become a potential area of concern if we don't address it. So they look at things like safety, health issues, security issues, just a whole range of things, because community development is about different aspects of the community. It's about economic, it's about well-being, it's about health, it's about social issues, it's about culture. It's a range of things. So the community development officers are very active in their communities. They work along, like I say, with partner agencies. Sometimes they work with DH. Sometimes we work very closely with the police. Work closely with DH, with health services, agriculture, Ministry of Culture, and we work with everybody.
Community service.
We
groups.
probably are the glue that holds everything together.
Yes. Now, of course, and come tomorrow, we actually going to be into hurricane season as well.
That is true.
And I'm sure that there are many, I shouldn't say many, but there are some persons out there in the community who find themselves vulnerable because of the conditions under which they may be living. They may not have hurricane shelters. They may be in a flood-prone area as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a commercial break. We're going to talk about that a little bit. And Ms. Barnes, don't worry, we're going to get you into the conversation as well. So folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Are you feeling sick but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy to understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough and sore throat, to cold sores, our pharmacist will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
The Green Turtle app. So many options. One easy solution. All new subscription feature to automate your weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly top-up. Makes your life easier. Never lose a number again. Keep your children on budget. Yes! Make sure you can stay in touch with your loved one. Woohoo! No hassles. Green Turtle makes it easy. Take a ride on Cayman's Green Turtle Express. Download the Green Turtle app today. It just makes life easier. Remember, you can get mobile gift cards for Xbox, PlayStation, Apple, and Spotify delivered right to your phone. Playtime is now in real time.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vant Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast, and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vantmotors.com or stop by Vamp's service center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vant Motors on Walkers Road.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning representatives from the Department of Children and Family Services. They include the manager, social work manager for the Youth Services Unit, Ms. Loy Kellerman. Also with us, we have Ms. Charlene Barnes, who's Shireen. Make sure I get that. Ms. Shireen Barnes, who's a social worker with the Youth Services Unit. We have Ms. Dorleen Welcome, Community Development Officer, and Ms. Vanda Powery, Community Development Officer as well. Before we went to the commercial break, we were talking about hurricane season starting tomorrow, 1st of June, and of course we have already seen up to the north of us where we had our first name system, for the year already. So whereas sometimes people look at the season being the most dangerous around the month of September, it can happen at any point in time, and of course, irrespective of how much preparations you make, there is always someone out there who is vulnerable as well. And how do we address those challenges?
Okay, so all right, one of the things that as Department of Children and Family Services, we are very involved with hurricane and disasters. The Director of Children and Family Services manages the Human Concerns Cluster from the NEOC organization. And so we're always quite involved. But so we started as simple as we worked along with HMCI just 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, handing out emergency disaster kits to some of our elderly and vulnerable in the various communities throughout the 3 islands. Not everyone got, however, because it was based on a certain criteria. But that's a step in getting them, helping to get them prepared and helping them to think about what it is you're going to do in the case of a hurricane. However, when it comes to simple things like storms, we talked about people in flooded areas. One of the things when we see a lot of rain coming and it's starting, we actually get into the car and we drive around the various areas that we know that are flood-prone areas within our various districts. And we go and we see what is happening. We check on our people. We check whether, is the water coming in, and we can say, what, the water levels are getting really high in this area. If it continues like this, these persons will need to move out. So we engage them to start talking about where they're going to move to, family members, other places, how we get them out, or maybe we need to go back to NEOC and HMCI and say maybe it's time we look at opening a shelter in this area if one's not yet opened. So we do various things like that. And we have partners who help us. So, for example, last year, the Cayman Islands Baptist Church helped us they donated quite a few packages. They were all in plastic container boxes with hurricane emergency supplies, food supplies that were given out to our various families. So we start off with things like that, but obviously we are quite involved in making sure that our vulnerable and the people in our community who we work with and we know need the extra help, have the help that they need, and we try to work with them to get them to some area of safety before it's too late.
Okay. Now, speaking of the more...
And we also do shelter management training.
Yes.
We're very involved in the shelters. Again, like I said, our director is head of that section, and so we're some of us work within the shelters during the hurricane, and some of us are there outside just making sure all the admin and everything is in place, and are there if we are needed. And we certainly do go in after a disaster to make sure that in terms of persons' social, mental state and everything,
shelter have a child protection officer.
And each shelter also has a child protection officer assigned to the shelter. So if there's an incident or whatever, there's somebody for them to contact and work it through.
Okay, so speaking of the more vulnerable or the most vulnerable in our society, or young people, we want to hear from Miss Shireen Barnes from the Youth Services Unit, and give us a rehash of Child Month. What has been going on? How do you view it as being successful? Where do we go from here?
Thank you so much. And thank you to Radio Cayman for always hosting us. Whenever we call, you always answer. We really appreciate it. So today's the last day of May, so we're at the end of Child Month. I would say we had a very successful month. We had several engaging activities where families and the community in general interacted. As you know that DCFS, Department of Children and Family Services, we are really working with people in their private lives, in their private moments. So when we have public campaigns, we are very excited about it. Engaging the public, having events that are fun and exciting. For the youth services team, what we focused on is having some game nights for the month of May, in which we had the youth engaged in a number of activities in which they won prizes and surprises, and it was just a whole lot of fun for everyone who attended. And we had 4 such activities in each district, and they were all well attended and very successful, I would say. So we're very happy and pleased with the results of that, and we're looking forward to that next year as well. I think that we were quite fortunate that we were able to have Child Month, considering what is happening in the rest of the world with the pandemic still in some areas not under perfect control as it is in the Cayman Islands. So we're very blessed and very fortunate. I could tell you some more about the youth services team.
Sure. Go right ahead. Go right ahead. You got the mic.
Okay, so the department operates, deliver our services to several teams. Youth services is just one of them. Community development is another one. Adoptions and foster care, the family team, and of course, our foot soldiers, the MASH. The MASH, they're the first point of contact for a lot of our clients.
And can you tell our listeners what those acronyms stand for? MASH.
Okay, multi, right, the safeguarding hub.
Yes.
So for youth services, we're providing services specifically to the age group 13 to 17. And as you know, those adolescent years are some very transitional years for young persons. So they're no longer children, because you'd say 12 and under would be a child, and they're not an adult, so you'd say 18 and over is an adult. So you have that very critical 5-year period where there's a lot of changes. So we call it a transitional period. So they're transitioning from one life period to another. And it is such a critical period. For me, I think it's the most important period in a person's life, because so many decisions and choices are made during the teenage years. They decide their career, they decide what they're going to do with their lives, they decide their sporting involvement, any type of activities comes out in the teenage years. And of course, they grow up. Many times you see a teenager just spring up in one summer. They come back to school, they're taller than their parents. So there's a lot of growth. So growth physically, mentally, emotionally, in every way. And it is such a difficult time for them making these choices. And they're influenced by their peers. They have a lot of different influencing by social media, what is happening in the rest of the world. So it's a time that we have to work even harder with them. And so our team, which consists of myself and Mr. David Hunter, Miss Marilyn Ennis, and Miss Belinda Gordon, managed by Miss Tiffany Miles, we have that task to help that particular group. So the youth services team, we do work with the courts. So we do have young persons who find themselves making poor decisions based on what's happening in their homes, in their lives, and they might end up being in front of the court, and then we work with them to keep them out of the court. And we also support them at school. We're just another positive adult in their lives. I like to say it's a helping relationship. Social work is a helping relationship, a professional application of self. So we're helping them through this period. So it can be quite challenging, but quite rewarding as well. And we might not see the impact right away, but later on. Sometimes I scare my clients. I say to them, 13 to 17, you only have 5 years to decide what you're going to do for the next 6 years of your life. You can't mess this up. So we have to help them and guide them through the period. So I really enjoy this work. We all do on our team. And every day we look forward to coming to work to help the young people.
Now, as a youth services unit, how much collaboration is there with other youth services that are provided? For instance, Scouts, Girls Brigade, church groups that have youth groups as well. What's the collaboration like with those entities?
Well, the department in general collaborate with a number of different agencies, both governmental, non-governmental, service clubs, churches, everyone in the community, because of course, you know, it takes a village, and we're just a part of that village that raised a child. So we do have quite a number of collaborations. And just to say, for Child Month, we had the credit union sending staff to help us for our game nights, which was very interesting, because normally you go to credit union, we're trying to get funding, but this time they actually helped us with manpower, and it was really needed. So we had them come into our youth game night, and they really helped us set up the place and break down, serve the food. So we were very grateful to the credit union for helping us this year. And we have a number of other agencies that we partner with. Family Resource Center is one of our main partners for Child Month as well. So we do have to work with all the other agencies that work with youth. In different areas.
Okay. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we had one of our callers earlier this morning speak about Cayman in general and how do we ensure that we uplift those in our communities so that we don't end up having to enact social programs later on to either protect them or to try to lift them up, and how do we go about doing that. And of course, Department of Children and Family Services will, play an integral part in ensuring that that happens. And how do we get away also from, we see in the United States, for instance, and I have to make sure that I say this the right way, but some persons being continuously dependent on government assistance, and it moves from one generation to the other. And how do we get people out of that stigma and get them on the right track where they become independent, productive citizens if they're able to do that physically and otherwise? How do we enable them to do that? So folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center.
For 32 years, the Cayman Islands National Dance Company have performed well-received shows for enthusiastic audiences. For our 33rd season, we're grateful for the support, the dedicated dancers, and sacrifices made. So without further ado, Cayman Islands National Dance Company presents Gratitude. Gratitude celebrates over 3 decades of performances, both established and new dances. Gratitude is a must-see. June 5th and 6th at Harkwell Theater. Get your tickets today at Radiance Dance Studio, at the door, or call 926-1826. Sponsored by Caribbean Utilities Company, ARC Directors, Vi's Closet, and Radio Cayman.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me this morning, representatives from the Department of Children and Family Services, including the manager for the social work department and youth services unit. We have community development officers with us, as well as a social worker, and we're talking, actually it is Child Month, but we're going beyond the scope of Child Month, but many things that are being discussed are also included in Child Month as well. So my little speech that I had before we went to the commercial break, actually that basically falls under the making of a strong community. How do we go about making strong communities, and at the same time, how do we engage or and network with our partners to ensure that those persons are lifted up?
Okay. So that sounds like a me question. All right. So one of the things that we do, or the community development officers do, is that they try to work within the communities to establish organizations and associations within the community, because it is okay for us to think, oh, this is what needs to be done, or this is what we should be doing in a community, but that really isn't the community doing it. So what we do is we work along with persons in the community. We get their concerns, their whatever their issues are. We try to get them to form little groups and give and empower them to bring their issues to the table and also to come up with solutions, because it's not just about issues, it's about solutions. And as members of our various communities, we should all be involved, because our input will help to make the community type of community we would like to live in. So it starts there. It starts by just going around. Sometimes persons don't want to really come together. They're happy to be in their own little four walls, in their little corner, and they don't really want to engage. But the community development officers go out, they meet people on an individual basis, they start to build relationships with them, try to engage them, talk about different things that they're concerned on an individual level, and then slowly kind of come to that point where we say, okay, it would be good if a group of us get together, because obviously many voices are stronger than one. And so it happens. And there are some communities that we have in Cayman who have very strong community groups, and they have been able to do wonderful things in those areas. We also work with different partner agencies. So we might work with FRC, we might work with counseling, number of different people and organizations in terms of private sector organizations, because we do have private sector organizations who are concerned. Of course, they're working and have businesses in these communities, right? So they're concerned as well, and they want to see, and they're willing to help and to help to move things forward. We work closely, as we said before, with a lot of government agencies and a lot of non-profit organizations. So it's a lot of work out there, and we can't all do it individually. So bringing a community and helping to uplift people takes a lot of ideas coming together, but it takes a holistic approach. So I believe that we can't just do it in terms of community development, but while we're looking at those social issues, we also need to look at the education, we need to look at the parenting, we need to look at health, we need to look at housing, and so we really need to have a little touch in each of those areas to bring everybody together for the good of the community. We do have, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about, we talked about persons on long-term assistance, for example. So we have a program now that we're working with out of our department, our case management unit, which I also manage, as well as with NAU, and it's a joint, it's a pilot project right now. Okay. It's joint between NAU, young business and professional women, who are doing some funding for us, and the Department of Children and Family Services. And what we have done is we have identified a few persons who have been long-term financial dependents or had to be on financial assistance for a while, but are persons who we think have the potential to either lessen their dependence or completely come off of it. And so we've got that group together. We've put a program together. They're doing some Michael Miles's Aspire Cayman Tools to Success program. So they're going through that program. They still have their case managers or their social workers who are working with them. We have a program administrator who also works with them. It's called the mentorship program. Okay. And business and professional women are providing mentors for them, as well as having them join their club and learn how to do different things. So whether it's different projects that they're working on, so they will learn as they work alongside them how to plan those projects, how to organize those projects. They'll learn things like budgeting, and they'll get other mentorship opportunities from them. But we're also working with some partners to place those people into jobs and give them some mentorship. One of the things, I mean, we have, I know work has programs, different people have different programs, and that's fine because we can't, well, we don't want to totally duplicate. One person or one entity can't serve everybody. And everybody's and there's an individuality to some of us, right? So we can't all go into a cookie cutter program. So this program that we have, for example, is, while we have some basic things that are there, it's not a cookie cutter program. It's looking at the individual, their actual individual challenges and barriers, and working along with those.
Now, sorry, someone wanted to say something?
No.
Oh, recently on this show, we had a caller calling about one of the districts where there was an elderly person, a lot of debris in the yard, possible construction material, abandoned vehicles and things of that nature. I had certain suggestions in terms of, well, if it has to do with derelict vehicles and things of that nature, DEH would be the go-to department in relation to that. That was my suggestion.
Correct.
Now, from a professional standpoint, and we have the community development officers here, how should that person who was inquiring about the help that was needed recognize the problem and needed to know where to go to get the help? They were also advocating getting groups together to go and work there. But from a development officer standpoint, how would it be normally be handled?
They're on the right leg with contacting DEH.
Mm-hmm.
That's the department responsible for environmental issues of such. And what sometimes we would do, if we're called, we go out there, we do assessment, and we get permission, get the family involved, of course, and we get permission from the owner of the property to ask them if it's okay to bring in
other persons,
non-profit organizations to assist with the cleaning, and sometimes we even get the beat officers involved as well. And we plan a day and we do a cleanup for the individual involved in DEH and all the other relevant departments.
Mm-hmm. Now, would this have been a situation where this slipped through the cracks, or should they expect the department to know about this person? How do you find out about these particular situations? You would rely on the public in many instances.
A lot of times, yes, we refer.
Because you can't be everywhere.
Right. So a lot of times, families themselves might call, or we have other persons in the communities who might call out, to seek our assistance, and thereby then get the ball rolling to get things done.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when we drive through these communities and we see it, we'll try to inquire and do a home visit and take it from there.
Okay.
And again, one of the things that we do is to try and encourage that civic pride.
Yes.
So it's not just our department or DH or whatever who's responsible. We will help and we will facilitate. But a lot of times we hope that, and we work with persons to try and make sure that their place doesn't get to that point. So, if there is a construction site going on, sometimes people are doing constructions or doing a little bit of construction somewhere, building something, and then it stops, but then there's a lot of debris that's there. We're encouraging people to be responsible and to try, especially as it's hurricane season, we've seen that, try and secure the debris, or take out what's not there, or make arrangements, or try to get help to take it away. But we encourage people to be independent as well. One of the things we talked about is how we get people out of these situations. So Dorlin touched a little bit about, we also engage families to try and get them to help us. We try to get them to come to a solution, come to some understanding or way forward. So how we can work together to get things going. But what's equally important in that aspect as well is also our young people, because like you said, we're trying to break the cycle. So you're probably going on another commercial break soon, but I would like Shireen to talk a little bit about her youth diversion program that the Youth Services Unit does, which will help to say
excellent
help that
excellent
situation.
So we will take that commercial break. When we return, we will hear from Ms. Doreen as well. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
When I was growing up in Cayman, Sundays was always a big day for our family. Everyone would go to Granny's house for Sunday dinner after church. Even today, I can still smell the aroma of all the delicious food we used to eat, especially the hot, fresh baked bread smothered in butter, topped off with our favorite pan cheese. These days, I don't have enough time to cook and bake, but I do my best to carry on the Sunday tradition of family meals, and being able to get hot, fresh bread with no preservatives or additives from Caribbean Bakery is a big help for me. Shh, don't tell them, they still think I baked it. Caribbean Bakery, now delivering every Sunday to McGrath's grocery store in Eastern Avenue and Marina Drive. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
Honey, our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs, with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. So we're going to hear from Miss Shireen now, not Miss Doreen. Miss Shireen about the, what's it called, a diversion?
Youth diversion program.
Okay, thank you so much. As you know, in order for us to impact the future in any meaningful way, we have to start with the children and the young people. So the Youth Services team, we have, as a part of our service provision, a youth diversion program. And what that is, that involves helping young persons who are at risk of getting involved in the court system or who are already involved in the court system to divert them away from the court system and from the criminal justice and from offending. So we focus on changing their thinking to help them with more pro-social thinking. We help them with their education, doing well in school, monitoring them. If they have a court order, we help them monitor the court order, helping them to stay on the right track. For youth diversion, we have several ways of delivering. We have, presently we are doing what we are calling the enrichment program. So we are in consultation with our psychologists who advised us that we start at first with enrichment program before we go into life skills program, anger management program, drug education programs. So we just completed our first, I would say, batch of our enrichment program, in which we had the young persons coming out on a Saturday, engaging in cooking and dancing and learning to mix music and learning a lot about radio. So we had DJs come in. We have people volunteering come in to help them with these activities. So the groups were fun, engaging activities where they were learning, having fun in a safe environment. And it just to let them know you can have fun without doing other things like drinking and smoking. So we had a successful cohort, and we're moving on to our next cohort after the summer. So the Divergent program is really geared towards helping young people who might be at this point in their lives, the teenage years, as I said before, making these choices that would not be in their best interest in the long run. And that's the area where we target for change, so that instead of them taking a course of spiraling out of control, they start to improve, develop, and have successes in their lives.
And that certainly makes your job easier at the end of the day. You probably won't see them then as clients later on.
Right, and it does impact on the community in general, because then we'll have a reduction in crime, and we'll have more persons engaged in positive activities, working, and even following from what Mrs. Kellerman said about uplifting people. It's at that point in time that they would have to be uplifted so that the course of their lives will change.
Okay, so we're going to go around the table now for everyone to have some final comments. And during the course of that, also if you could re-emphasize what community development is all about. So we'll start with Ms. Welcome.
All right. I realize that networking is very important, and your attitude towards, people in general is very important. Some of the community building, and I'm working close with Georgetown Primary School as well. And we just got through with a Breakfast for Mom program, and that was a success. And yes, of course, Joan is right under her nose, so we will be doing a Breakfast for Dad. And this is also to encourage, moms and dads to, to be there for their children. They get to eat breakfast with their children. And, so we even encourage that in other schools as well, yeah? Also working close with Georgetown Primary School again with a Grow Box program. Okay. Yes, I had Brother Carlton West visit the school, and they're looking about getting some soil and other plants, teaching them what to grow, where, for the right sunshine and everything else, which I learned something about that as well. Other things that we're doing in the community in Georgetown is Zumba, and we realize that a lot of us going to the doctors taking a lot of medication. Some parents are stressed out, so we started a Zumba fitness. It's like Get Fit Together, and it's left open to all ages, and it's free. And that will be this coming Friday at the St. George's upstairs, St. George's Preschool, starting at 5:30 for 1 hour. So the grandparents, parents, and we have younger grandparents now, and children, they can come out and enjoy. And it's not just about dance, it's about exercising and getting fit together, yes. Back to, I'm trying to work on more intergenerational programs, so everybody can come out, and it's bonding as well. When you think about it, it's getting the family to bond, because we have such a large gap between grandchildren and grandparents. So that's also would assist with that, yeah? The National Gallery, work close with the National Gallery when they do their tea and tour, get my seniors on board and get them dressed up and out to that. Great. We encourages parents, and parents play a major role in what we do to, encourage their children, get out the house, get off the game. We have youth groups in the evenings at various churches, get them involved in basketball, get them involved in football, at key clubs as well, and even the cadet corps and so forth. So we try to encourage them, and even if we have to get an application form and take to the parent, we just take the red tapes out of the way, and, to have that child to become successful. But as I say, we mainly rely on parents as well to encourage your children to do
something. And I'll give Georgetown Primary a plug as well. For the Cub Scout program, there's an investiture service taking place this afternoon at the Scouts headquarters on Middle Road for Georgetown Primary also. Okay, Miss Powery.
Yes, good morning again. And so, continuing with the district in Westby, we're looking forward to hosting a first basketball tournament, a 3-on-3 tournament, Saturday, the 12th of June, from 2 to 8 p.m. Persons can register at the Cayman Active website. It is for ages under 12, under 14, and under 16. So it's geared towards the higher level of primary school to teenagers in high school to 17 years. And so that's coming up. We're encouraging, families to come out, the community to come out and support. Persons can contact me at 916-7902. We initiated a youth focus group just last week, whereby there's a need in the community for the same age group that Ms. Shireen shared about earlier. But we are covering a bit between 12 to 18, whereby we saw the need to actually have a group of young persons come together to have a discussion about what they saw their needs were and how they felt that various activities and so forth would be something that they're geared towards. So we're starting at the ground, at the grassroots level, and building up. That first session was hosted last week, so that is something that we're building on. We're hoping to have a hub, a home, permanent home, sometime soon. Miss Loy and I are working definitely to get that on board. If there's a place in the district that someone would like to definitely have us be able to host some community activities there, please definitely get in contact with us. I'm also working with persons in the community in regards to doing some culture thatching sessions. We know that we don't want our traditional methods of building community, continuing with traditional things to die. And so we had a session actually at the John Gray Memorial Church Youth Group this past Friday. Ms. Rosemary Ebanks, she's looking forward to persons in the community to also come forward. Again, give me a call so that we can, have some dialogue and see what sort of things there are that the community needs are. I'll just speak briefly about our colleague in East End. There is the Aqua Therapy and Aqua Fit group geared towards our seniors that had its kickoff last week. That was hosted earlier, I think, last year, but due to the COVID pandemic and so forth, we had to put a little plug on that for a time. But that's definitely up and running again. You may also contact us, about getting seniors in the East End district involved in that program also. And before I finish, I'd like to also just emphasize that we do have 2 additional events for the Child Month that we're still looking forward to host in June. Those 2 are the talent show and the intergenerational music clash. And the intergenerational music clash is really geared towards building the bridging the gap between our older population and our younger population. Yes. So definitely having them come together and enjoying a really wonderful time, so we're definitely looking forward to that. The talent show involves the primary schools and other persons in the community coming forward, poetry, music, dance. They're definitely, events that we want to definitely be out there to support. And we want to thank the public for always coming on board and supporting our Child Month activities. Yeah.
Excellent. Ms. Shireen.
Thank you so much. So our upcoming events for the year are, we have International Youth Day. That's going to be organized by an event we have yet to decide by the Youth Services team. We also have International Children's Day, which is in November, and we also have Older Persons Month in October.
Right.
So those are our main public campaigns for the year for the department. So for our youth game night, I'd like to just say a big shout out and thank you to Sergeant Pompey for assisting us with music at our events, and also to the Subway for providing the delicious food, great. And also to the credit union for providing manpower.
Definitely,
and to a young Caymanian who's starting up a business. His name is Mr. Dwayne McLaughlin, and he has this little business called We Deliver Concierge. So he has large games, and he rented those games to us. Excellent. We were very pleased with that. They were like the highlight of our game night. So I just like to say thank you to Dwayne McLaughlin. And thank you again for having us, and we look forward to coming here again
Certainly.
in the future to talk about our activities. And we welcome support from the public. We welcome support from donors.
Yes, definitely. Please
we
come
welcome
forward.
partners. We are very happy and excited. Even our last Youth Day activity, we had so many partners. It was just great to see the community coming together to have that activity, and it really made an impression on our youth. So thank you for that.
Ms. Laura, you get the final say.
Okay, so I just wanted to give a little more information on the intergenerational music clash. As Vanda said, it's between older and younger persons. We have Cayman Islands National Dance Company and Radiant Dance Studio, who's going to be there, who's going to be performing, but they're going to be engaging the audience in dances as well. And we also have the Cayman folk singers who will also be performing, and again they will be engaging. It's an interactive evening, so while there's performances, there's interaction and so forth. And we probably have some quadrille dancing, and Mr. Howell Senior has agreed and looking forward to play. I think he was disappointed that it didn't happen 2 weeks ago because of the rain.
Yes.
But he will be playing along with Antoine McLaughlin, who they will be playing on their saxophone. So it is going to be a wonderful evening of fun. So I'm just saying for the listening audience that whenever they hear their dates, they make sure that they come out and enjoy as well. But I also want to say thanks very much for having us on the show, OC. It's always good for us to come out and talk about what we do, because I think a lot of times people don't understand the wealth of and the breadth of activities and programs that we do, and we work very hard behind the scenes to just try and keep everybody going. But we can't do it, obviously, without our other partners, our other government agencies and ministries who work along with us. Big shout out to our ministries as well, who support us, the previous ministry, and I know this one as well, who support us in all that we do. But as well as our private sectors and our nonprofit organizations, we couldn't do what we do without the support of everybody. As I said earlier, our problems, a lot of it has to be solved by being a holistic approach, and it involves everybody getting together, working with each other, moving along. That's how we get persons who are probably less engaged to engage, because it takes each of us to motivate someone. And when I can see OC getting involved in this, and I'm like, ooh, he does that too. Well, if he do it, I can do it. So it helps to get all of us involved. This is our country. The communities we live in are our communities. We, each of us, need to take an active role in our communities and our country. It's the only way that we are going to be able to improve. We have many good things going on, but we know there's always room for improvement, and we shouldn't sit on our laurels. And so it takes all of us working together to make Cayman what we really want it to be.
Okay, and I want to thank all of you for the work that you do as well, and for those who say, oh, well, they get paid for what they do. I would say that you can't be paid enough for what you do. It takes a special person, a special individual, a caring individual, and one who has the passion to do the type of work that you do. And like you pointed out earlier, it's a 24/7 job as well. You never know when something is going to rise. So I want to thank you for the work that you do as well. Way over the time, but folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, or check with the people at Children and Family Services as well. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Drainey Banks at 12:15 for Talk Today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
Also brought to you by Ropers Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Products and services for better public health. Green Turtle. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today. The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, and by West